So, straighten that out a little bit.
Small. Okay, it's 6:31 now. Monday, August 25th, 2025, and it's 6:31 p.m. And I'm calling to order this August 2025 monthly town council meeting for the town of Oolitic. As a reminder, these meetings are being streamed live and recorded, and they're available on the town's YouTube account. So your presence online or here in the room signifies a consent to being recorded. If you do not wish to be recorded, please leave or disconnect now. So, okay, join me for a word of prayer. And standing for the pledge of allegiance. Lord, I commit this meeting to your care and ask that your peace fill this room. Lord, we trust that your perfect wisdom, we trust in your perfect wisdom, and ask that you direct us according to your plan. In your name, amen. Mm-hmm. Thank you, allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Trying to focus on the word and then some wants of it.
Well, I was kind of getting confused because in Sunday school we do the flag, then we do the Christian flag, then we pray to the Bible, so I was thinking, okay, it was kind of like, yeah, I got.
Sure, I'm on YouTube now.
Okay, now we'll start with roll call. Corey is here, John Rowland.
Yes.
John Dillon. Here, Steve Kerr.
Present.
Carl Baker.
Here.
Town Attorney Greg Pittman.
Here.
Clerk Treasurer Annette Norick. Present. Town Utilities Clerk Carla Hetzel. Here. Street and Utilities Superintendent Wes Tipton. Marshal's Office Greg Hagan. Here, Ryan Beckett.
Here.
Shane Hickman. Okay, we'll move on to the minutes. Wait a minute. The minutes approval for the Monday, July 28th, 2025 minutes of the July monthly council meeting held at 6:30 p.m. John sent those out 7/30/25. Are there any corrections or changes on those?
You should have gotten an updated copy today. In my review of my own, I found where I had duplicated the same paragraph, so I eliminated it. So you all should have an updated copy in your inbox.
I saw that. Okay, if those are the only corrections, do I have a motion to accept and approve of the July minutes as corrected?
So moved.
Is there a second motion
Yes. Second.
to the motion?
Yes, ma'am.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay, the Tuesday, August 19th, 2025 minutes of the special council meeting was held at 4:30 p.m. John sent those out on 8/25/25. Are there any corrections or changes to those? No. If not, do I have a motion to accept and approve the August 19th minutes as written?
So moved.
Okay, do I have a second?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay, the council will now hear from residents who are attending and want to speak. Everyone wanting to speak must have signed in up front here at the board table. The time limit is 3 minutes per resident. No walk-on topics or added questions will be allowed after the board moves into the old business section of this meeting. Mary Jones. Concerns on the old school site?
All I want to know, I'm for that thing to go, because it is absolutely nice where I live directly across from that and have for almost 13 years. Of course, my concern is all that ugly that's inside that building, but I've been told, this man right here told me that it has been remediated.
No, they're saying it has.
Oh, they're saying yes, okay, whoever the people are, yes, okay. But anyway, I want to know what kind of safety protocol you have on that to protect everybody around there, especially in that closer proximity for it just to come down. They're saying water, they're gonna water it down, which I get that has to be, but I know there's a bunch more that should have been done. I'm sure that's not gonna be there, I don't think there's even time for that. But what happens after that dries? I mean, where does that go? Once it's down in that ground, does it dry and come back up? I mean, it's just, you would be concerned if you live that close as well, so that's my concern. And I just want to know what, like I say, the protocol. Jiva messaged me and told me to be here tonight I might be able to get some answers, so hopefully I do. But I want it to go. I want it to go.
Does anybody know about the remediation process?
I've not heard any, other than the water that I'm aware of that they're going to do. Everything will be hauled, if it's contaminated, will be hauled to the Medora landfill. The stone, brick, and steel, according to Derek, will be hauled to 3 other sites. One of the stipulations this council gave them was if it's greater than 4 or 5 miles an hour wind-wise, they can't do anything. My understanding is that the guys running machinery will have masks on, hoods on. I don't know they'll wear any of the, protective suits. Again, I guess I hate to be this blunt about it, but it's not town property.
No, I know.
Right.
I understand that, yes.
So other than the safety of the residents, the safety of the property owners, and residents in general, we're out of the loop.
Yeah. No, I'm not blaming, I'm asking you, I just want to know what you have as far as a protocol, because I would think that the town would want that period,
Yeah, and we put that together, and we've actually got a contract between us, the town,
Yes.
and Deckard. I got several items, I think they gave you a copy.
Yeah.
You saw it, were you satisfied with what we outlined?
Yeah.
Yeah. From restrictions, repositioning the fence, I asked if there could be a barrier put up on the fence. I don't know if that's gonna happen or not. There are barricades up. One of the things that I warned Derek about this afternoon when I saw him over at the site was, as they literally start knocking it in, and their intent is to knock it in and then shovel it out. If we get a bunch, more or less for you and Shane, Hagan, I assume as they start the knockdown process sometime Wednesday,
Yes.
right? We're gonna have a bunch of golfers. And one of the things I don't want is to have a traffic jam on Hoosier where people are parking on both sides of Hoosier. So we may have to eliminate anybody parking on Hoosier. And if that's the case, I'll go to Derek and say, you need to bring barricades down, you need to set up barricades, and we'll have to enforce.
Yes.
If somebody's parking there as golfers, the last thing we need, especially in the morning.
We've got some temporary parking signs, so if that's something you guys want to decide on tonight, we pass a resolution on those. Temporarily shut down that block and we'll put the signs out.
Yeah.
You guys need.
Because I also request in here that the sidewalk on that site be closed.
Absolutely.
There's just so many variables. And of course, with Phil right next door, right, that's a concern as well.
Absolutely. I'm all for the progress of it. I am, oh my goodness, now I didn't know what's coming in from what I hear, that's definitely gonna be a plus for this town.
Yeah.
But like I say, mine was just with the
So let
severity.
so let me ask you a question. What are you hearing is coming in?
Just wondering. We haven't heard.
Apartment buildings.
Yes,
Apartment buildings.
yeah, duplexes actually.
Yeah.
That's supposed to, what I heard is 4 3-bedroom units on each of those buildings.
I heard that as well.
The duplexes, it's supposed to be all 4 3-bedrooms, because he
I'm
has the
sure-
same ones in
I'm
town.
sure he's gonna try to buy Fred Lewis's property. I know
Oh,
it's
sure.
kind of speed,
Yes.
they're kind of,
It's not going to this.
There is, I don't see.
I'm kind of in the middle of between Fred and him.
Yeah.
He's interested in selling, and I'm Jim's spoken there today.
Yeah, multifamily, I won't necessarily say low income, but there's a ton of federal money available
No.
for someone that's willing to build, right, low income housing. My only, and I'll go on record to say this, my only hesitation on low income is Section 8. So it depends on the landlord as to how effective Section 8 housing is.
Look at the old school over there,
Yeah.
Docker School, that's what I'm getting.
Mhm.
That's Section 8, I believe.
Yeah, it can be.
When's he supposed to start hearing, working?
Wednesday afternoon.
Wednesday afternoon?
I said Wednesday.
I thought that.
It's being delayed because we have an active fire hydrant behind the building on the alley. It's broken, it's not usable, but in order to avoid a catastrophe, we don't need a 6-inch main broken with a water line fence. So Wes will start sometime Wednesday morning, digging up, sawing the alley, digging up, and then literally capping that main, that hydrant off the main. And we'll cap it to a point that if Jim does build housing and we do have multiple residents and need another fire hydrant in the area, we can always add one to where we're gonna disconnect the building.
That's it. Absolutely.
Okay, we'll move on to old business. American Legal Publishing, that's in progress. Now, everything else got on that, do John?
No, things slow down a little, I'm not finished.
Resolution 5-2025, the collapse of 4 police fund balances into the general fund was tabled from the July 2025 monthly meeting. Do we have any discussion on that, further discussion? If not, move on.
Madam President, I'd like the floor. In relation to that topic of Resolution 5 from last month, I want to make it known, and I want it part of the minutes of this meeting, that the 5 of us, this council, will make decisions like that, regardless of who accepts or rejects, regardless of what's brought to this table. Spending the funds for this municipality is the responsibility of the 5 of us. If we deem, right or wrong, if we deem that the proper way to go is to spend what we have to keep the lights on and do payroll, that's exactly what we'll do regardless of what the fund says. Thanks.
You will know. Okay. Okay, let's move on to new business. John, you want to turn that over to you? Ordinance 11.
Yeah, we've had, I'm going to say, I know you've had, over the last 6 months, I'm going to say we've had half a dozen or more complaints on chickens and roosters, right? I was not aware of them until my early morning drives or my late afternoon drives, and all of a sudden I hear this rooster what in the hell's going on here? And since then, we've had a number of complaints. I know Marshall's office has. I've had literally 2 residents call me direct, complaining that their neighbors got them. And they're a menace, they're a pain. So over the last 60 days, I collected a bunch of information from other towns on ordinances. So tonight I have ordinance 11-2025. It's amending Title IX General Regulations, Chapter 91, new section 9106, chickens and roosters. And basically, what it amounts to is chickens will be allowed to be kept within the corporate limits of the town in accordance with the following requirements. There shall be no roosters within the town corporate limits. Those residents who currently have roosters at this time, if this legislation is passed and approved, must register or log that animal here at Town Hall so we know who has a rooster, right, versus chickens. If the animal is or becomes a nuisance of crowing, then they'll be given 30 days to remediate or get rid of the problem. And after 30 days, they will be fined. And I left the penalty or fine portion of the ordinance at $50. So if they're cited once, it's 50. If they're cited a second time, it's 50. We'll continue to do that on an ongoing basis until the rooster is got rid of. The other thing I want to kind of, there's what? 10 stipulations. One of the things I want to emphasize is they must be in a coop. They must be, to the point that cannot escape the coop, get out, run around the yard, jump a fence, become a nuisance within. They must also, they must provide dry, odor-free, right, and shelter from the elements. So again, if you're going to have the animals, let's take care of them. So that's tonight's. It is ordinance 11-2025. Greg has reviewed it. Greg's good with it. It's got a lot of meat in it, no pun intended. Got a lot of teeth also, right, that I believe is enforceable without a problem as far as the marshal's office is concerned. Any questions? I know you all received a copy ahead of time, so you've had a pre-read on it.
Chickens don't have teeth. I just want to throw that in. I don't think so.
Yeah, well, yeah, I won't touch that.
No.
So I'm going to put a motion on the floor for this council to approve tonight ordinance 11-2025. Any additional discussion? Do I have a second to that motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, in order to make this ordinance effective tonight at this meeting, I'm going to put a second motion on the floor to suspend the rules to allow this council to accept and approve ordinance 11. Any discussion on that? Do I have a second to that motion?
Second.
Brenda? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thanks. And as a third and final motion on the floor for this council to accept ordinance 11. Second to that motion?
I'll second.
Brenda? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. And Annette, this doesn't have to be published. So we're good on it.
Okay, as we've been discussing, the Oolitic School Building at 231 Hoosier Avenue, Jim Decker Properties LLC has served the town notice that he intends to tear down the current structure. Due to the poor conditions that exist inside and outside of the building, the town created a contract agreement between the town and Deckard Properties LLC. Said contract was distributed to this council and town attorney for review and acceptance. Are there any questions or further discussion? If not, I make a motion to accept and approve this contract as written. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Then that motion carries.
Terms of that contract. Any additional terms that haven't been filled.
We haven't seen all the attachments yet, but I got there today.
Okay, the town has approximately $55,301.42 in the ARP funds that must be obligated by December 31st, 2025. Proposals has been made to use these funds toward the December annual sewer loan payment of $62,187.50. Due to the recent many expenditures made because of the March-April flooding, the utility accounts balances are an all-time low. Using these funds to offset the loan payment leaves the sewer account responsibility of only $6,886.08. This action takes ARP account to $0 and also ends having to make further reports and updates on the ARP funds. Do we have any discussion on that? Got anything?
The suggestion was in that, so I think it's a good one. It allows us the flexibility with the sewer balance, right? Not to spend it to zero. And we don't want to be late or even ask for an extension on the loan payment, which we could do.
Right, and it would be easier actually to take one lump sum, to use the ARP money that way, than to try to track everything and do reporting.
Simple, easy.
Right.
Yeah. One transaction, we're done.
Putting a motion on the floor for this council to approve using the remaining ARP funds of $55,301.42 to be used to pay the annual sewer loan payment of $62,187.50, augmented by the amount of $6,886.08 from the sewer account. Do I have a second?
Yes.
It's a perfect parallel there.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Who are you putting down for that second, Annette?
I put Steve down. We'll let him.
Oddly, I'm actually closer, so then
I actually wrote Stephen.
Okay, we're into sections, or items 9 and 10, and I'm gonna turn it over to you, Carl.
Thank you, Brenda. It's been a busy month in regard to the firehouse, and we're making progress. We've got some good news. A very talented volunteer, Brenda Burton, working with the Oolitic Restoration Fund. We've been awarded $4,000 to begin the essential first phase of our restoration plan for the Oolitic Firehouse. The assessment and feasibility phase, the focus is on understanding the current condition of the building and its potential restoration. We would like to engage Jason A. Williams with Silver Creek Engineering to do a structural assessment and make sure we've got a building that we can work with. we'd like to get started with that and, pay for that out of the grant funds awarded from Indiana Landmarks. And there's a contract with Jason, and, I would like to propose a motion that we engage Jason Williams as the engineer to do this structural assessment on the firehouse. That would begin sometime this month. And has anybody got any questions for me about the structural assessment of the firehouse?
How long does he take to publish his results, you say? Or just?
He mentions that. I think he was gonna get right on that. Not any great length of time, Steve. I think he had 6 or 8 hours, actually on the job inspection of the firehouse. There's some areas due to the roof collapse, it might be dangerous for him to get in there, but I think we can assess that building. And then he's got 6 or 8 hours more in some research and reducing his assessment to writing. So I would give him about 4 days.
All right.
Yeah, it's gonna be a pretty quick, I expect a quick turnaround from Jason. I don't see any reason why not.
I will second your motion, Carl.
Okay. All those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Second item, what was it?
Number 10 on the script.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I just drawed a blank right there. It happens to me a lot. We've got another grant in the works for a tornado siren, emergency siren, here in Oolitic. I personally think we need one, or I wouldn't be doing this. This grant is offered through the Indiana Department of Homeland Security. Would consist of a siren and a pole, and there will be a fence around the pole. The exact location of the siren here in Oolitic is not finalized, but we're looking at a location on the south end of Hoosier Avenue, near or upon Dolan's school property. We've got some details to work out with that. We've got another alternative idea of location on or near the corner of Second and Walsh. But those things will be worked out. The total cost or the total award of the grant would be around $60,000 by the time everything's said and done. There would be a maintenance contract that is not required, but I think it might be a good idea so that the town is never negligent in the maintenance of the siren. The cost of that maintenance was presented at about $1,200 a year. I wanted to get Oolitic a better deal. We negotiated that down to $800 a year. So I think that's certainly going in the right direction. And pretty much the details that I have on it right now. We'd like to get a tornado siren in Oolitic. It's more than tornadoes. It's an emergency siren. Any emergency whatsoever, I'll follow up with the marshal's office and put an evacuation plan together and some other things, later on. He didn't know I was gonna say that, but, does anyone have any questions for me about the, emergency/tornado siren?
The only thing I would add to that, it will be hooked and linked to the series of sirens in Bedford. Friday at noon, just the way the ones are in Bedford.
Well, one thing I want to know about, they mentioned like maintenance, if it's, like, if it's $1,200 a year, that's $100 a month. If it's 800, it's 66 or something a month. I'm thinking, what do they get for that? Because, what do we get for that? Because, in communication with Ted, he says, they run that siren about twice a year. I just think the cost for the maintenance, I really would love to know what is it they're giving us for that. The cost for it, I understand that, but man, for 800 or 1,200 a month or annually,
Backup batteries, you've got a lot of stuff. Backup batteries went on those. You remember Bedford didn't have those that went off. There's a failure in the system.
and this is stuff that we don't deal with now with the current system?
We don't have a system.
Well, I mean, we have the thing they push out by the garage.
Yeah, but that is never in sync with what Bedford does. That's never in sync with National Weather Service.
Okay, and that's the,
Right.
well, then the maintenance is a lot more to it than simply,
This will be activated when Bedford's is activated.
so then I understand maybe that it's not merely maintenance, it is, as in, like you do in car maintenance, it is to run the system.
It's my understanding, it's a 24/7 coverage. And if for some reason, I'll use Shane as an example, if he's out on patrol and realizes the same thing's not working, let's say it's got the red light on, we can call them and they will get down here and maintenance it ASAP.
Okay.
It's that kind of maintenance. And I'm thinking batteries also have to be replaced, Carl, every 3
Every
years.
3 to 4 years with a cost of about $800.
Yeah.
What I've been told.
Well, then that's a lot more than I had anticipated, so, okay, I understand that.
We can do our own shopping on batteries. To your point about the existing alarm system, I've looked into the history of that, and it's not a tornado siren. That was put in place years and years ago
Call the fire department.
to call in the volunteer firemen and the firemen in case of a fire. Never had anything to do with tornadoes or alarms, alerts to the general public and residents. It was in-house purposes for the fire department when the old Oolitic firehouse in its glory days. Long since gone. It hasn't been turned on in years that I know of. Has it?
You can go in here into the rec room right now and turn it on.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is not, if they had somebody to man it, and when Bedford's went off, it went off, that'd be one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna tell you, 9 out of 10 times, this one's not activated when the rest of Lawrence County is.
Gotcha.
I keep going down that road, but I'm telling you, it's my husband activated that a lot in his day.
Yeah, we
Because we
probably,
lived right here. And then we lived here, so he was the closest to run across the street.
as an organization, we probably ought to unplug it. We're searching for.
Sorry, I didn't poke you.
I have two eyes.
So Carl, did you make a formal motion? I didn't hear it.
I have a couple questions.
Sure.
So when you say that's a $60,000 grant, what is the anticipation overall cost? And is this grant free and clear, or is it going to be a matching grant and the town have to come up with X amount of dollars?
It is a 100% grant, and it will be at no cost to the town. Uh, with the exception of the $800 annual maintenance of it. That's it, that's the only cost to the town would be an $800 a year maintenance. And as John mentioned, in the event of needing maintenance, they would be right down here to get us up and running. And we've got to make sure we got good batteries. Batteries expire every 3 to 4 years, and I've been told at a cost of about $800 for the 2 batteries. And again, I intend to get Oolitic a better deal when it comes time to buy batteries.
Does that actually cover the cost of the installation, construction?
Everything.
Yeah, the cost of the installation, the communications equipment, it'll be controlled by radio through the Lawrence County dispatch, same as Mitchell and Bedford and Oolitic will all go off together. And the coverage of the siren will be, you'll have 60 decibels of sound in a 1 mile radius. So if it's located at Don's School, they'll be hearing it north of the quarry. East Oolitic community will hear the siren. It'll be, the 1 mile would be east of the community known as East Oolitic, and we'll be hearing it over the top of Patton Hill.
Does that cover the cost of the construction?
Everything.
Covers the cost of
All
everything.
materials, said and done. Everything.
Yeah.
Indiana Department of Homeland Security, I got their website and doing some stuff with FEMA through IDHS. They have sent out numerous emails, and I forwarded this one to Carl saying, here are a ton of grants, 100% grant, no match. Let's submit one and say, from a safety perspective, a readiness perspective, we'd like to have a siren. They're all for it. And the grant proposal, Carl's already got written up. All we got to do is vote on it tonight, submit the proposal, and we should be done.
It's ready to go. I wrote up the original grant proposal. I sent it to our volunteer grant writer that assists us in grant writing, and her words fluffed it up. And she did a great job with it, and it's all ready to go.
So,
And I'd like to motion the council to approve the submission of the Indiana Department of Homeland Security grant for the purposes of a tornado/alert emergency warning siren for our town of Oolitic. Can I get a second?
Second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carl. I know that's, you put in a ton of work on that. Appreciate it. Okay, we'll move on to department reports. Nat?
On the CCD, that's still just a waiting period until we hear back from DLGF. That has to go in with part of the next year's budget. I don't have any invoices other than what was submitted for Carla. John and I sent out the information to everybody on the insurance plan from Brent Pfister for German American Field Group for the insurance.
Yep.
Anybody
And
have any questions on that or
Brent
anything?
responded, which
Yeah.
is what I wanted.
Yeah,
I missed just 2 phone calls, but I'd rather have it in writing than verbal anyway. That's why I
Right.
put the questions in writing.
and then I had gone out with Wes one day last week and went over all the vehicles and the VIN numbers and made sure that all of that was up to date. Updated the driver list Brett made those changes. Added a few other things. Other than that, there weren't any changes. We do need to make a couple of adjustments. He's gonna give me a worksheet on how to better determine what comes out of water, what comes out of sewer, what comes out of the town side of things, so that we can separate those better than what had been done in the past. So there's gonna be a formula that I'll have to sit down and then, work through that. And I think the final, John, you didn't put the price in there, did you?
Again, because there could be some adjustments
Yeah,
to it.
but it was,
So if we just approve the proposal, that's the only reason I didn't put a dollar amount. I would make the note, though, that it went from $37,104 last year to $40,892 this year. So for a net increase of $3,788. In the scheme of things, that's not bad. I did challenge, and 5 of you did get copied on the email, I did challenge some of those increases, right? I mean, overall, the policy went up 12%. Well, again, considering the cost of doing business and the cost of supplies and the cost of goods, and you look around the country on what's happened with insurance losses, 12% is probably not a bad increase.
those are any other comments or anything? On that? Okay,
So I'm gonna put a motion on the floor to accept the town's insurance proposal for the field crew. We've already had our discussion, yes, so do I have a second to that motion?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
No building permits this month. Any questions on the financials? Okay. Right now, for budget form 1, that has been submitted. I have a workshop scheduled for, September the 11th at 10 a.m., which Steve and I will be working with, Gary Stewart on that.
That's your new rep for this year?
So, and then with that, we can add into the insurance information, and then also on that, there's gonna be some adjustments that I will be making with the marshal's office for their payroll. A portion of that comes out of the Oolitic fund, so that will come off, there'll be some that'll come off of general on that. That's all I have.
So Carla isn't here tonight. Eight. We didn't have anything outside the norm for water adjustments that I saw.
No, I think and that was last month, so this month, I think there was maybe only one. I think she said that it was even for September. So,
Okay, do I have a motion to approve this month's water adjustments?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Yes, second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Is there a motion to approve last month's July water adjustments that were tabled due to the lack of documents and council not able to review prior to signing?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Everyone saw the Excel sheet for the invoices. Carla? Do I have a motion to approve the invoices for water and sewer in the amount of $10,997.33?
So moved. I would also add to that, reason it's 10 grand higher than what it has been the last couple months. We had a $5,500 invoice with Bynum on the pump work for the sewer plant.
And I didn't see anything in here beyond that, so second?
Skip seconded. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Did Wes give us any kind of utility report?
I haven't seen diddly squat from him.
Marshall's report?
July activity, we had 37 police services, 16 document services, 8 follow-up investigations, 1 crisis intervention call, 6 community policing, 2 agency assists, 7 traffic stops, 7 warnings, 1 moving citation, 1 seatbelt citation, 1 assist arrest defendant. August 19th, officers completed defensive tactics training with Lawrence County Police Department. August 26th and 27th, Officer Hickman will be attending advanced roadside impairment detection enforcement training. We got the ammunition for Officer Hickman to attend ILEA. We obtained methamphetamine test kits. Officer Hickman passed his ILEA physical fitness test, exceeding exit standards today. He's scheduled to attend ILEA beginning September 2nd. His $1,000 tuition is due the first day of class, which I sent you guys an email about. We entered into the preferred vendor program through Team Tires. It gave us much better pricing on public safety for tires, and we got the tires replaced on the Crown Vic. That's all we have.
No rooster, no. No rooster.
No rooster tax. No rooster tax.
No.
So September 2nd. Is a Tuesday. That's holiday weekend. So he'll need his check
For then,
by what, at least the Thursday. If he's up here on that Friday, he'll need it that Thursday. Right? The 28th. That makes sense. Just want to make sure
I'm sure you're right.
when
Downstairs
he packs up and goes north, in order to get through the gate, he's got to pay the piper. So
Yes.
we'll need to make sure that check's written.
Yeah, and I'll say he really needs that this Thursday.
Yeah,
This Thursday.
this Thursday, the
Yeah.
28th. $1,000 each,
Yes.
right? Made payable by the week.
Yes.
Do you have an invoice for that already? Okay.
And we used the email that Ryan would have sent Brendan on, where we approved it.
Possibly, unless I just contact ID and they just go ahead and send me one.
I can get you one.
Yeah, that would be better than an email.
It does not.
Okay. Set on Thursday, correct? I mean,
Yes.
Move on to the council members. I have, it's been on my mind for about a year and a half through a conversation, with Carl Kinzer's daughter. And, I would like to have, and I've talked to John about it, and I think maybe I've talked to you guys a time or two. I would like to do something. Carl's a racing legend, and he lives right here in our community. And talked to John about having a sign erected that says Carl Kinzer Racing at the entrance to the town. So I'd like to have a big reception, big to-do. And I'd like to do it in May of 2026. Thereabouts, don't know for sure the date. I've got it in my mind. I've already got musicians that will come, already got speakers that will come. So I'd like to put a motion on the floor to the board to approve me putting together this, for Carl Kinser to honor him. 3 or 4 years ago, we were sitting at a ball game and the gym was full and over here in about the middle of the gym, the bleachers, sat Carl Kinser, and my son looked at me and he said, Mom, he said, just look, he said, right there's a racing legend sitting amongst you. How many people realize that he's sitting there? And, so it's been something it's went through my mind, but I spoke to his daughter and she asked me if the board had heard, anything about having some kind of reception or honoring him, anyway, or having something erected. And I said, no. So it's been in the back of my mind, so I'd like to do it. So I put in a motion on the floor to approve that.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
I think it's a great idea. As we get closer to it or start planning it later this year, we block off Main Street, we do some music, we do a band, we do some groups and make a day of it.
Yeah, I want it to be more than just, so it's in my head, and I've got a lot of people that are willing to help because he is a big deal. And, he's.
Marcus too.
And Marcus too, his son, and I think Carl's 85.
Yeah.
I think it's about time that he's honored, from his hometown. I know for years at the windmill, he came in every day for lunch and brought his whole, all his racing, or his crew, they come in every day for lunch. Be about 12 of them sitting around the table. And, so he's been around a long time. So I think, I think it'd be neat honoring. So, and I wish we could do it earlier. I know he's not been feeling well sooner, but I think that I need the time, I need that time to put it together the right way. But, we definitely want the community to come and sit and be involved and so, yeah. Get that out there.
Anything you need, I'll reach out.
And it'll be sometime in May. I'm just not sure of the date yet. I'll have to look and figure that out. So,
Have you seen that documentary, YouTube documentary on him?
no,
I looked it up, there's a guy that's been, I'm not sure if he's done two, but he's a big fan himself of Carl Kinser.
okay. Yeah, I'll look that up. I know there's been a book written about Carl and all his accomplishments, and his daughter said she would get me a copy of that. So.
I'll link that to the Oolitic YouTube page, it's good, I mean, it's very informative of things that people don't really know about him,
Yeah,
He's a very humble guy.
he is.
Brenda, I was also notified, and I thought that I had mentioned it to you a while back, but that was on wanting to, they had also talked about putting a bench or some type of monument up to as you come into Oolitic, saying that it was home of Carl Kinser.
That's what we were talking about. Actually, I've actually reached out to a couple of sign makers, like the Oolitic, fabulous Oolitic sign I had made. The guy also makes metal signs. And I talked to 2 others, and we've actually talked about making a big race car out of metal with Kinser's name on it, literally bigger than this table, and attaching it to the top of the welcome sign. as you come in.
And we've got one gentleman who said that he would do that at no cost to the town.
Yeah.
So, with whatever design we want.
Right.
So yeah, it's, it'll be neat. It'll be neat to do, and yeah, I'm excited to get it done. Long time coming. Okay, that's all I have. John?
I'm done.
You sure?
John Brogan's done.
I'm ready for dinner.
Steve?
Nothing additional.
Carl?
I have nothing.
Greg?
I don't have anything. Thanks.
Nice to see you down there.
Good to see you.
I have one question for Greg. And this is really going back, I got a pending file on the PC, right? I have stuff to follow up on. As I was going through and creating the stuff for today, whatever happened with Misty and getting the Bedford meter calibrated or replaced? I've lost track of where we are.
I mentioned it to her. I don't know what happened after that. I'll have to check. I don't know if they discussed it with anyone from Oolitic or not.
I haven't heard a word from anybody.
Okay, I'll mention it to her.
Brandon, who was part of Bynum and the water permit here in town, right? He has left Bynum. It's now Adam Hirschberger. I reached out to Adam because he sent us a water report just recently and had turned into IDAM. I asked Adam if he had touched base or heard anything from Bedford, and he has not.
Okay.
So
I'll reach out to her
I
again.
kind of like to have a reading because I kind of like to, well, if I have to jump in the middle of that pile and spread it, I will. I want that meter calibrated, tested, replaced, whatever. I want somebody to tell me it's an accurate reading because it's mechanical and it's been there ever since the building was built. So why is it any more perfect than the meters we're replacing now, right? With radio read electronic meters. And this is a big old brass, I think it's a 4-inch. I'm just not convinced it's accurate. Somebody needs to prove to me it's accurate and that our billing
Yeah,
every month from Bedford, which runs between $7,000 and $10,000 a month for water. I want to make sure that billing is accurate.
I can get you her number. You can reach out to her too.
Yeah. Okay, I'm done.
okay.
Carla's not here, so I'm gonna go ahead. Boys, which Carla spoke in the past about the cloud for the utilities with voice. Tomorrow, they are having a road show in Ellisville from 11 to 2. Carla and I are planning on attending that. If Carla's gonna be available, if she's not, I will still be attending, but we'll have the office closed from 10 to 3 tomorrow, which there was minimal traffic today due to it's after water bills are up for renewal. But we'll have more information on that, but we're gonna be able to meet the team and they're gonna go over the cloud software for utilities.
We asked to be a beta site for that. Has
Right.
that been
I
confirmed?
No, I do not believe that they chose us. It was put on the back burner, so I'm actually not sure if that's what they're doing with Ellisville. So, and that's something that we can talk to with them tomorrow too, about whether or not that they're going forward with that.
I know Ellisville Water, if Boyce is not gonna include Oolitic with as many challenges as we have with Boyce, in my opinion, and Keystone, I think we deserve some specialized treatment. I'll call Ellisville. Because see, Bynum also takes care of Ellisville.
Yeah,
So we do have a back door up there.
right. But it's, but that was for the utilities, surrounding utilities, and there'll probably be quite a few others from other companies that are using voice and everything, so.
Yeah.
But we've got that information, so then we should be able to come back with that and further some job opportunities or open doors that we can work with on the cloud enhancements, so. And that's all I've got.
Anything else?
I've got an email from Misty. I sent it to Carla in March. I looked it up, so I'll send it to you.
Okay, perfect.
Sorry about that.
Are you okay? All right, there being no other town business to come before this August 2025 monthly meeting of the Oolitic Town Council. I make a motion to adjourn this meeting at 7:30 PM on August 25th, 2025. Do I have a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carried, meeting adjourned.
What?
Uh,
But
Did you sign that one copy of this?
No,
Yeah, because Carl will need that to engage Jason.
Just first. She's scared, wacky.